Thursday afternoon chat. Your favorite artists with Jayar.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your little paws together for today's guest. One of our favorites, CAIN.
He called us favorite.
So we've been doing, we want to give you a chance to pick your own background with the green screen behind us to choose. We know you guys are into, we've chosen pink as I'm sure there's a fancier name than pink.
We've been saying fuchsia.
Okay. I'm sorry I didn't get the memo. I would have joined you. How many radio personalities dropped that funny joke that I just dropped? Hey, why didn't you guys email me? I would have been the fourth member of CAIN.
Our
And you
manager
guys
just
pretend
said
to
that
laugh
today,
and
yeah.
that would have been cool.
It's hysterical.
We should have.
I'll drop
definitely
the
should have.
paperwork. Legal
You should
joke.
have sent me an email about that 2-button polo. I'll throw one on.
I got a suit. I was married in that thing.
I got a suit.
Okay. What I'm going to give you a few options. So as we continue talking and some of those moments get shared on socials, people will see the backdrop of whatever you're about to choose. So let me give you a few options.
Okay.
You can choose from the Egyptian pyramids,
Okay.
underwater, or pirate theme. What would you like behind us as we're chatting?
Well, the thing about underwater would be good. I could just constantly be in be a blowfish if I ever feel threatened. Do you know what I mean?
Do you feel like you're going to be threatened?
I mean, you just don't know what kind of questions you're going to get asked on these things.
Did our last interview not go good?
She's like, I could be a blowfish with a knife. And she pulls out a knife. You're like, what is that? What?
If JR does what he does last time, I may blow up
Okay, so underwater's out.
just to protect myself.
It feels like,
Pirates.
Underwater's out.
Pirates.
yeah, Egyptian's
let's do
going to lead
pirates.
to
Okay.
way
I
more
like
trouble than
pirates.
pirates.
Let's hit the button. There you go. What do you think?
Oh, man.
Man,
That
Just like
Right.
Mother used to make.
I feel honestly, guys, I'm so hungry. I could use one of those turkey legs right now. Do you know what I mean? Just eat it.
You want a blacksmith too?
Where did you see a pirate eating a turkey leg?
Orlando Bloom.
That's not
We're in Orlando,
from
Florida.
that super popular
talking
film
about Disney
series,
World?
Orlando Bloom.
It's on Pirates of the Caribbean. He was looking steamy and great, eating a turkey leg.
Wait, I think you're mixing something up.
Okay.
At Disney World, they sell turkey legs right outside of Pirates of the Caribbean, but it is not tied to the ride. Just there were no Blackbeard was not like,
She's like,
hand me
that's
one
the
of those.
goal to being a pirate.
And
You
you're
ultimately
saying-
get a chest full of turkey legs.
What do they eat? What do
Okay.
pirates eat?
Whatever they can find. Clearly,
ghosts.
scurvy was a
Turkey.
problem, which
Oh,
means they didn't have a lot of fruit, because I think
Okay.
that's tied to vitamin C lack of. But
Could I have scurvy on tour?
you could if you didn't pack appropriately.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Pirate history is the only thing I've read outside of a Louis Giglio book and scripture. But
They're all
I
very
love,
similar.
They're very similar. But that's the only thing I read, so I'm a nerd about it. I know nothing about taxes and stuff, but I can tell
Okay.
you about pirates. So
Okay.
as you've already messed up one of the great myths that all
Okay.
pirates eat turkey legs, oversized turkey legs.
Yes.
Oversized.
I've
Yeah,
never seen a
jumbo.
turkey with a
Mutton
giant
dripping
leg that big, so I don't know where they're getting these.
Either.
But the plank, what do you think about the plank?
Plank.
I'll tell you this, it's a complete myth.
Oh.
No pirate ever made somebody walk off a plank. They would simply push them off.
Okay.
It was the dude in that wrote Treasure Island, Robert something.
Yep.
He was in Scotland, and his stepson, was living in this little cottage because he had breathing problems. So they moved up to the Highlands in Scotland so he could be higher elevation, was helping his breathing or something. And so to keep his stepson occupied, he just made up a pirate story, Treasure Island with who's all those guys. That's where parrots came from. That's where plank came from. We're all in this book
No
that
way.
he
Really?
made up in a cabin. So now,
Wow.
I mean, turkey leg is a whole nother. I don't know. I've never heard anybody mess that one up.
Okay.
But planks and parrots and burying treasure is not real either. Only one time somebody ever recorded buried treasure, Captain Kidd. In New York, he buried it outside of New York in those little islands.
I used to
off-
bury. Thanks for Madison.
Yeah, she's.
Are we even family? I feel like everything I thought I knew was a lie.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it's hard.
So
What's
wait, do
my
you read
name?
about true pirate
Only
history?
the true stuff. Yeah.
Okay, well, what's
Well,
true?
then-
Not romantic pirate
Okay.
novels or anything.
Parrots, yeah, parrots are so romantic to me.
I feel like I don't. Do men like? Do they want like a pirate woman? Because it feels like that would just be like a toothless woman, kind of
On
gumming on.
Christian radio, I can't discuss what they were into.
Okay.
But I can.
has killed me twice already with the steamy Orlando Bloom. And pirate women.
My finger is hovering over the edit button so hard it looks like I had 4 cups of coffee. But
Coming to a trash can near you.
Little pirate
This
woman.
interview.
let's play Rise Up, and we'll be right back with more on Pirate. No, but you know how they dressed is a lot like how people will see CAIN, because you guys dress with a flare, like the hats and all that stuff.
Oh.
It's because when they would rob a ship, it was all these fancy clothes from the UK and everything with the high hats.
True.
And it's like, why are they wearing that? It's because it's whatever was on that last ship they stole that was
That's what
fancy.
they're wearing.
When they got back to New York and started flaunting around, they were wearing this gaudy stuff.
So I have to confess
see.
that I stole from a rich ship.
Oh,
and that's where
That's
I
how you
got
got
a merchant.
merchant ship. eh?
Stole from a merchant.
Rich.
I feel like most of the pirate stuff we know, it comes from either Captain Hook or
Remember that
Tom
movie?
Hanks played a good pirate in that one movie.
Johnny Depp.
Oh no, like Tom, and he was just like, no, this is my boat.
Robin Williams.
No,
Oh, the true
the
story.
captain.
yeah,
Yes.
is the Two Into the Spectrum with
You talking about
Wilson.
I'm the captain now?
Tom-
Captain Phillips?
Yeah.
Captain Phillips.
There we
Yeah.
go.
I
guess that was a pirate movie. It was more of a modern day.
So I guess
Yeah.
like if he had the boat and then pirates took it, but he took it back, then he's the pirate now.
Yeah. Or he just reclaimed what was rightfully
Yeah.
his.
With a turkey leg.
Turkey leg.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. I hope these listeners, when they picture a pirate, they picture Tom Hanks
Holding a
gnawing on a turkey
turkey
leg.
leg.
All of a sudden,
In a
Orlando
polo.
Bloom comes in, takes it away.
And Kane singing BGVs
Yeah.
for the musical.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yo,
That's all behind us now.
Okay.
And I just wanted to get all that out right
Okay.
there. Anyone that's followed CAIN on socials know that y'all coordinate same color. It's a great theme. Everybody needs a theme. I've been going with this passionate, overweight guy theme. You know, I'm actually a very skinny guy,
Yeah.
but I wanted to be one of the only faith personalities that's like, hey, yeah, that's the guy that's bigger and eats a lot. So you should see me in the summer. In the summer where I'm not doing interviews, it's
Yeah.
like, where'd he go?
Unrecognizable.
And every fall we kick it back in.
Oh, okay.
So just like your outfits, I'm
Yeah.
doing similar.
Yes.
Totally.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
I appreciate
like-
that.
so this is like a 101 question. I'm not very proud of this question because it's kind of simple, but how does it all work with shopping? Who coordinates it, and is it all Amazon, or do you guys actually physically walk in together, or is there a memo that goes out going, hey, this Saturday, this color? How does that work?
Okay.
All of that.
Okay.
That I actually am really thankful for this question.
That
because
was a good question.
It's kind of harder than it looks to show up in all fuchsia. Because if you walk into the store, they're like, all right, now that it's spring, you can have this white sweatpants or this black shirt from last year. Like, there's not a ton of just like
Yeah.
fuchsia options. Taylor does all of it.
Oh, wow. Thanks. Well, I
Cat's
just.
out of the bag.
Cat's out of the
Yeah.
bag.
I'd rather hear your take because she said she raided a merchant ship about 5 minutes ago. That's how this happened.
That's true.
So are we gonna keep going with
that
her?
ship was parked
Yes.
inside a mall,
Wait,
and we're still
can I
dealing
give
with
a
those.
secret?
Yes.
An insight. Okay, so a lot of the times we can't find, like, how are we going to find this color for him? It's just not doable. So we buy red dye, and we go to town, and so we
dye
dye
ours.
things
Oh, wow.
to where we can all match.
That's an industry secret. None of us.
I don't know. Is it
My
like,
'cause
outfits
you
are
it's
to
easier,
die
or
for.
it's harder to find the fit and the look, and it's easier than like the color. You know, it's hard to
Okay.
put it all
so if it's like
together.
linen based, cotton based, I'm like, dunk it.
So like
Yeah.
for our
Yeah.
Yes He Can music video, Taylor's jumpsuit that was orange was once cream,
Okay.
dyed orange.
But I think the simplest version of it is the weakest link determines. So it's like, if it's like we're wearing fuchsia and I'm like, okay, this is as fuchsia as I can
Yeah.
find, then everybody's like, they try to tie to.
Yeah.
So we've branched away into more things, but I just feel like you said, as far as needing a theme, and I would love to just like wear black skinny jeans and just
Yeah.
like wear street style, but
That's why I got into this.
I Need to Breathe's my favorite band. Why can't I just dress like Need to Breathe? But it's like, it helps now that things are moving forward, and I want people to view us as one unit, as one voice, as one. So I don't necessarily. It's like Taylor's known for the hat, and that's fun. But in all reality, wearing all one color helps people kind of just look at us that way.
Yeah.
We don't have a lead singer. We don't have a lead personality. We just are all one color and one thing.
There's a great book by I forget, called The Purple Cow, and it's a marketing strategy of just you've driven by 1,000 fields full of brown, black, white cows your whole life, but have you ever drove by a field that had one purple cow in it, you would remember it forever.
Yeah.
And so from a marketing standpoint, just to stand out, that's not arrogance, that's brilliance, because it's a lot of noise out there for music choices, for everything. To do one thing different that nobody's ever seen separates you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I am that purple cow.
I am that purple cow. Metaphorically and
I'll be
otherwise.
that cow for you, Jayar.
For you, Jayar. Oh, man.
Let's go with, because you were all raised in the same home, this question that I've been asking a lot of guests is the perks of your parents' job. And we've gotten so many amazing answers because everybody's parents' job is different. We had one person say, my parents were civil servants, and there was no perk with that. It was the fact that it was right next to a Hardee's, and they fell in love with the sausage biscuit that day for the rest of their life. So my dad worked at a grocery store 40 years, changing the price tags for 40 years.
No way.
And so at night when they closed, I was a little boy that got to run the aisles and sprint with nobody there. So stupid little stuff like that. But for you guys, perks of your parents' job.
I have one. I can go last.
No, you should
Okay.
start by all means.
So our parents are pastors. And in our, I guess close to our hometown, was a steakhouse chain called Brangus. And pastors ate free on Wednesdays. And we went to Brangus every Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I just think it was one of these steakhouses where you could eat peanuts. They had a bucket of old school, I guess it's peanuts are still peanuts. So the classic
Old
peanut.
school.
But you could shell peanuts.
That's more of a
eat them.
piratey thing. I think only pirates ate
You could
peanuts.
shell, and then when you got done, you could just throw peanut shells on the ground. And as a kid, it was just like, nothing I love more than free chicken fingers and making a mess.
Yeah.
So this is just like, I'm here every Wednesday.
Taylor and I stole out of the offering plate one time. Is that a perk or is that just a crime?
That's about the third least thing I'm going to have to edit today. So keep going.
Sick.
That's what I was thinking too.
No, we got
Speaking of pirates.
It was 75 cents. We didn't know. Like, we just saw a bunch of change, but they were counting the offering. So Taylor and I both took
like,
75 cents.
Wait,
I'd love to have.
if your dad's the pastor, aren't you stealing from part of your dad's salary at that
That makes
point?
sense to
Yeah.
how we treated our
Yeah,
dad.
we got in big trouble,
Love
and
you, Dad.
then
He made us read the story about Ananias and Sapphira.
yeah,
Yeah.
it went
Stealing
all
from the
way.
offering.
Classic.
Can we
What
throw
a
more
perk.
Ananias and fire up here?
Yep.
Got together to
Walk the
conspire.
plank.
Yeah, come on, BBS.
Oh yeah.
I got a whole
Do
song.
we have any perks?
Okay, there's a real perk, but I'm just saying, like, at the time I was like, oh, free.
Yeah, because you went with
drinks.
my perk is stealing.
We're
I
just
had
playing right into
easy
that.
access to
Right into
change.
that pastor's
our
kids.
dad was-
I
We're
thought
pirates.
it
That's
was
if our parents
a
were pirates.
perk, and it
The old-
turns out
the old stigma.
I had to pay 7 times what I stole. So
75 times 7.
So the perk was
That's
we
a
got to learn
Chris August song.
math.
75 times
Oh my
7
God.
is...
give it back so the devil won't get you.
10,000
That's a- I like that
reasons
song.
and forever.
Forevermore.
One of the
Okay,
other big
perk.
perks of being a pastor's kid is you get a lot of unwanted conversations with people that go to your church that wig you out when you're young.
Yeah.
So I developed a lot of people skills because it's always the one
Yeah.
guy who's just like, I brought castanets today for worship, and I'd love to talk to you because you're the pastor's son. And I was just like, that's dope.
talking
Thanks
about-
so much.
Talking
What about
the no
confession?
perks.
Did people ever try to confess things? Like that happens to me as a faith-based radio host. I'm at a softball game, and the dude comes up. I won't even say what he said, but let's just say there was sin in his life. And because I'm on the radio, he was telling me right outside of the dugout. And I'm like, oh.
Is he hoping you turn it into a segment maybe? I don't know.
I don't know, but he wanted to tell me because like I'm a
get rid
member
of
of the
it.
Yeah, yeah,
clergy.
yeah.
Oh.
I'm like, man, I'm just here for the money. I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
We're kidding. We're
That was a
kidding.
joke.
Okay.
At least I didn't steal from the offering plate, but
Literally.
The Yeah, gosh.
Turkey leg over here.
The I feel like a huge perk was the stage equipment and the instruments. I feel like we were always able to have rehearsal
Yeah.
space, and that's where we learned to play. That's
Yeah.
we never had lessons. We just had the church.
Yes, it worked. Sorry.
No strobe.
No
No
strokes.
strobe.
That's good because you think of pro ball players like it's like why does Ken Griffey Jr. get into the pros so easy? Is it because his dad? Is it genetics? Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonds. But I think it could have had something to do with access and like he's been around the best. And for you guys,
Totally.
just to be around equipment, have easy access
Yeah.
to other people don't get that. They don't have
Yeah,
that laying
that's
around.
true.
So that
Yeah.
could have opened the door.
We were put on the spot a lot too.
Yeah.
Like I would say, maybe that helps us to think on our feet. Just
Yeah.
because Dad would no practice, no click track.
Yeah.
It's just like get up here and follow me, and I'll
Yeah.
tell you what key it's in later.
And specifically for the line of work that we're in now too, it doesn't always go this way. This isn't a perk for every pastor's kid, but
Yeah.
it definitely is for us that like mom and dad genuinely loved everybody that they pastored, and we got to see that played out. And so ministry is like a wearisome thing for a lot of people, but I don't know. I just really am like, maybe we're new and we're green or
Yeah.
whatever, but it's like I've been in ministry my whole life.
Yeah.
And so the things that people want to warn you about, it's like, no,
I love it.
I
Yeah,
really
I
do
like it.
love
I know what
this
you're saying.
part
My
of it.
parents were puppet ministers my whole childhood.
Wow.
they?
Yeah.
Bless
There's
you.
not many of us out there, but it was rare. Not every church could afford a puppet ministry.
Should we show him the video? We just got a puppet ministry video of Rise Up back.
These are I'm like
Does
being
it trigger
triggered
you a
right
little
now.
bit?
Okay.
Like the
My-
open head.
I'll call my therapist when this is
Okay,
over.
okay,
Yeah. No, there was a room in our house where all my parents kept all the puppets.
He's
Okay.
a CPM.
So I'm
child
sharing a
puppet
room with
ministry.
my brother because
The
that's the only
puppets
space
have
the
to-
puppets have, and so
And you're not sleeping in a room full of puppets.
oh
That's
no,
nightmare
They
fuel.
talk at night.
horrible.
Have you ever seen any move in the night?
I'd really like to change the subject.
Okay.
Here we go.
So back to
Yeah,
Pirates.
yeah, right. How did
fuchsias.
Yes He Can come to be? Just I guess meaning behind it and all of that.
In a very real way, we had just turned in about 35 songs. We met with the label of like, hey, we were like, let's make 3 records. Like we would just love these songs.
Yeah.
And they were just like, I don't know if we have it yet. I feel like you guys have more in you. And so I just felt so deflated and defeated. And you're like, okay, what are they even looking for? And so we came in. I don't even know. Let's just cut all that. I don't even remember what
No,
I was
it's
going to
great.
say. It's good? Okay.
going.
Okay. We
I'll
came
cut
in.
you saying let's cut. it
Okay.
out.
Okay, perfect. That's great.
No, but we came in and we just, I remember the thought was, how do you have faith for something when you don't even have the mood to even pray for faith, or you're not even sure God hears you? Like, how do you just generate faith? And so we started going back and remembering some of the breakthroughs that we've had in our life. Taylor, she was healed of complete kidney failure. And there's been times where we were out of money and we received a check in the mail. And just different times where you know that God intervened. And as we were talking about it, you can just sense the presence of God in the room. So the idea was the best way to build faith for the future is to remember.
I needed to let you get out your story of, faith and Yes He Can, but you're talking about your parents just out of nowhere getting a check and like God's provision and all that. My first thought was it for the exact amount that you stole out of the offering plate? Who sends a check for 75
gosh.
cents? How do you even do that? 0.75? Do you even need the dollar sign? Because there's no dollars.
7
And
times 75. They send you a check for $3.50. That's like the postage on that is probably just as much.
But
they
the
send,
Lord
they send the check
provides.
minus the postage.
Now go and sin no more.
Yes,
Tiff.
go and 75 cents,
They
no
paid my
more.
debt.
We did a bit on the Jayar show earlier this year that it came to me from not an argument, but a kind of like a dialogue in the hallway talking about the greatest song of faith all time. And so I went with Amazing Grace, and I'm like, Old Rugged Cross, Amazing Grace. Those have been some of the staples for years. But I was talking to 2 people that were younger, and one of them was like, I can only imagine. I remember where I was the first time I ever heard it, just thinking about that moment of what to say. Will I even say anything in front of?
Oh, yeah.
And then somebody else that was in their 30s was like, the thought when I hear Oceans by Hillsong, that walking out of the water, is the greatest song of faith I've ever heard in my time. So we started this whole NCAA type bracket where it's like,
Oh my God.
it took a while, but we're like, and like 10 of them were classic hymns. Like 5 of them were currents now. It was a beautiful name, and these songs that will be around forever, 10,000 reasons. So we threw it out to the audience, and we got whittled down, thousands of votes. It got whittled down to a final 4
Oh my gosh.
of I Can Only Imagine, Amazing Grace, What a Beautiful Name, and Reckless Love.
Ooh, Reckless Love made it.
That was the final. I mean, it's all just kind of like everybody's personal opinion. Some of it has to do with where you were when you heard life
Oh
stories.
yeah.
Yes.
But those were the 4 our audience chose all time. Which of those 4 would you have voted for on our?
Shoot.
Or which one would you have thrown in as a 5th? This had to have
Yeah.
been in there.
Great.
Well, I don't know. I'll answer both. I guess is that like
Rise Up is just a no-brainer.
it's
and
like
you
I
have-
was gonna say is that we gotta buy
Imagine.
into the
Is it
finals.
really? Does it really have great faith in it though?
yeah,
It's just kind of like bossing you around.
yeah.
What's Jesus bossing you around?
Yeah.
Oh well, I guess
It's
it can.
us telling you that Jesus.
It's
had
me
once
as Jesus
gone
bossing
through
you
it.
around.
Yeah, in the
Which
past.
is how I like to do most of my bossing.
Thought about changing it to
Persona
raise
by
up.
the voice of
Raise up,
Jesus.
yeah.
The current.
Yeah, dude.
Jesus
somebody,
said
somebody tagged us in something. They were saying something about Kane's song "Raise Up," and we are like, "Boy, what a difference that A makes there!" Because
weird.
what a terrible song that would be. Come on, raise up.
Oh, everybody in Tampa Bay is loving it.
Is it a window?
Hey,
Raise
R-A-Y-S,
up.
Come on
Is
over.
this like a tentacle or something?
The what?
What
Like
is
a
the
devil ray?
Yeah, what is that?
What is
Does
this?
it like? Does this represent a ray of light?
It looked like you were
His
doing a
fingers.
hand
Oh
signal.
no, that was.
Oh, we
just,
thought this was like the conjoined,
no.
like we're the rays.
So Haley did it, and then you did it. So I was like, oh yes, and then Taylor
No.
did it.
Then I did, I was like-
a second, like
Everybody
sounding
in
like
Tampa
art.
knows this. These 2 fingers in the
She
air.
said, is that a tentacle?
Raise up.
Raise up. Come on, raise.
This is actually what a ray, a stingray's tail looks like
stingray,
this.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we go,
as
raise up.
it's
Sting
piercing
'em.
its enemy.
Sting
So,
'em, Kane.
greatest songs of faith of all time,
Yeah.
right?
I know,
Speaking
that's
of the
what I
Tampa
asked
Bay
you,
Rays.
yeah.
Yeah, gosh, get back.
I was just thinking about, I don't even know what it's called, but fall on Jesus, fall on Jesus. Chris Rice.
Oh yeah.
That or those
love that
songs
song.
are like,
Oh,
I mean,
love
a
that
current
song.
one. I remember where I was when I heard Tori Kelly's version of 100 Billion
Yeah.
Times, which is like, I don't know. I was like weeping in the car. So anyway, I
Rich
mean,
Mullins' "Hold Me, Jesus" was
Hey.
never. It was never a number 1. But when I was going through a hard time, hearing his vulnerable voice
Dude,
singing,
I'm
"Hold me,
shaking
'cause
like a
I'm
leaf."
shaking," I'm like,
unbelievable.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
So
not singing that in little tent churches in Africa, but it was personal to me.
Yeah.
But there are songs like "How Great Is Our God" has been sung around the world.
Wow.
And there are those that have been translated in so many languages.
I would pick the hymn, Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there another hymn that you would have put in front of Amazing Grace?
Yeah, like everyone. I don't know
Yeah.
why
I guess
said
Madison
that.
hates
you got a
that
big
song.
problem with
Wow.
Amazing Grace there, pirate.
Sorry.
You're more of a mercy girl or what?
I realize I'm talking a lot.
What's the one that was written in our hometown?
Leaning on
Oh.
the everlasting arms.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
written in
Was it
Hartsville,
actually written in
Alabama.
Hartsville,
I
Alabama?
sang that
at a
as a
time?
little boy.
And
Yeah.
I would probably say Amazing Grace as well, just from the sole fact of those things, like literally the gospel, like survived. It had to be passed down before there was any sort of technology to keep. So it is a miracle that we're sitting here in 2021
Oh, yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah,
think that's
And
just
Carrie Underwood's
crazy.
cutting it. When
Oh,
the guy's
wow.
coming off a slave ship, repenting, having a conversion experience, not even a song, I think it was like a poem or something he
wow.
wrote, and then somebody put music to it, and here we are, Carrie Underwood's covering it in
Yep.
2021. The
Wow.
survival of that.
yeah, in the fiber of the world. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Do you feel like back then people were better Christians?
That's a whole,
they ate more
that's a whole
turkey legs
podcast.
now, didn't they?
Okay. A great hymn lyric, and it is only celebrated 1 month out of the year. Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Have you ever read the lyrics to that? It's a gospel story, and I
Yeah.
get chills whenever I read it.
Yeah.
So just throwing that one
You
in
guys
there.
should cover it and just go away from the Christmas. See if anybody notices.
Oh wow.
Put like just
Just
a
put really
a
moody
cane.
keys.
Is there
just
like maybe a different word besides hark we could start with?
yeah. Raise
is
up.
great.
Hey, the,
Raise up.
angels
The angels sing.
Raise up.
or maybe R.
Our
The herald angels sing.
Raise it up.
Raise up, y'all.
Raise up.
Y'all get that 45
Now I
degree
know what our picture is going to be in front of the pirate ship. Raise up, which
raise
means
up.
nothing to no one.
Come on, get them
Raise
raised
up.
up.
I would have done this at a sporting event, so I'm glad we talked
it's like
about
sort
it.
of turned, like a little bit bent. Like, how do I even recreate that? Come
Wait.
on, raise up.
Your husband played for the Rays, and he never talked about this?
He didn't
I
play.
love... Oh,
he
wait,
didn't
no,
play
no.
for the
Played.
Rays.
For
For the
Mets.
Jays.
Mets, okay.
Play for the
Hey,
Mets.
Your husband pitched at Tropicana Field.
did.
Yeah.
He never came home and said, it's so intimidating when they do Rays up.
Everybody puts a raise up.
I can't find the strike zone to save my life.
Just looks like a bunch of stingrays about to attack me, I think.
It's so intimidating as an opposing pitcher. Those two fingers in the air.
A little slightly bent. Oh man.
You can hear it coming. Here
It's
they
great.
go.
Don't they make a noise? No, it's silent.
Stingrays don't make a noise? Yeah.
Deafening.
No, they don't make a noise.
Stingray.
It's
Sound of
hilarious.
water rushing over their meat wings.
Let's go this last one here.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you guys 80s kids or
Yeah.
90s?
Early
90s.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna try this here.
Okay.
But I was an 80s kid, and there were certain films. There was no PG-13 back then, so something that today would be PG-13, they slid into PG because
Okay.
it
Yeah,
wasn't
totally.
R.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I threw this out to the audience about a few months ago, and we had phone calls for hours and hours. Everybody had a different story of a scene from a movie in your childhood that traumatized you. You remember into your adulthood.
Oh.
It wasn't
That's
meant
a
to be a
great
scary
question.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh man, I shouldn't be watching that.
This is-
Oh, that is.
So many Pee-wee's Playhouse, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, that movie that came out had, it's Pee-wee just being goofy, but
Right.
there were moments in there that were traumatizing for kids, which sounds now like it was way before your time. But
no. I mean, but the stuff I have is so lame. I remember, though, man, Ron, our manager's going to make fun of me forever. There was a scene in Bambi that there was an owl that would be like, ooh, and it would always scare me, so I'd make sure and leave the room in plenty of time to not
Yeah.
see the Bambi owl.
Yeah.
So I'm soft.
nothing about the mom getting shot frightened you.
I was already callous by that point.
Yeah, the opening scene's pretty terrifying. I'm gonna be honest.
Actually, really bad.
Oh my gosh! And the Land Before Time.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you still
The
like,
earthquake.
yeah, and he's just sort of like, "Mom," and it's just
Yeah.
like he's like putting his paws in little. Well, actually, that's
Yeah,
the
the
Lion
gram-
King.
That was Simba, and we saw Simba. Go on.
Oh man.
And the long neck and the little paws.
The
and
lions made a killing in Land Before Time. It's the only predator.
It's so true.
And if you're on the wrong side of that earthquake, it's like, why couldn't I be on the
Oh,
side without
please don't
lions?
He's like, remember, there's an asteroid coming. It's like,
You
Mufasa?
said you'd never leave
Yeah.
me, and that you were a
Oh,
dinosaur.
that's tear-jerking.
Oh man.
The
yeah.
one for me, it wasn't scary, but Fox and the Hound.
Oh
Yes,
I was
dude.
gonna say
What?
that.
As a little kid, the fact that those two were told they were best friends, a fox and a hound, and then one day it's like, you cannot be friends anymore because you're too different. You know? As a little kid, I'm like, this is horrible.
This isn't
Yes.
right.
The feelings I'm feeling as a little boy, I've never felt before.
Yeah.
And it's watching this storyline.
To
Is that
this,
what you were gonna
to
say?
this
I
day, it
think
makes
that's
me
yours.
emotional to think that an animal would not understand. Like,
Oh.
if you have to, like, take your beloved dog and drop them off at, like, a farm or something. So the concept of Todd getting loaded up in the
Yeah.
wagon and
Oh,
taken to the
gosh.
woods, and then he's
It's
just,
so-
like, watching her leave and doesn't
Yeah.
understand. Yeah, same. Even still, I'm just like, really?
I
Like, you
can't
can...
watch, like, since I was a kid, I would never, you go through and you watch old, except
Yeah.
for you're not watching Bambi, I'm not watching Fox and the Hound.
Same.
But,
Yeah.
like, I can't go do it because it'll
Yeah.
trigger me back. And I'm like, I'm 44 now, I should be able to get through this,
Oh,
can't.
it's bad.
Can't do it.
but I'm drawing from it.
Who's your fox if you're the hound? Who can you not be friends with and you're tore up about it?
I don't have many friends anymore, but maybe it's because of the movie.
It might have this is all making
never-
sense.
Got some
never wanna
attachment
get
issues.
dropped off, so I choose not to have friends. You guys are the closest I would get.
Don't leave me.
It's amazing I got married.
I got a suit to
you.
prove it.
I got a fuchsia suit back here with ruffles to prove it.
From the merchant shit.
Oh gosh, I just want to end there.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
I feel like anything else is.
I feel like I just got the moral of that story when you said you're like, yeah, they're just too different, so they can't be friends. I'm like, that's what they were teaching us. I was just too.
Madison was like, man,
upset."
grizzly bears sure are big.
What do you know? You were scared of an owl.
Yeah. Just stuck on
Yeah,
the
a fox was way too much.
That's great.
This has been.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks
Yeah.
for hanging.
You're so
Listen,
funny.
We learned a
wrong.
lot.
Never forget.
Let's recap
Get
what
those
we've
rays
learned.
up.
Okay, let's recap.
Raise up, guys.
Pirate history's a lie.
Yeah.
All of pirate history is pretty much a lie that you've learned, including turkey legs,
Including
which
that
wasn't
they-
even a rumor
And
until
steamy-
today.
We
Steamy
started
Orlando
it and ended
Bloom.
it today.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be a pirate.
Orlando Bloom is
Pirate
steamy.
women,
Yeah.
Tom
they don't
Hanks
exist.
was a pirate as he reclaimed his boat.
Yeah.
Stealing from the offering is not a perk.
But
Yes.
Cain has been stealing from merchant ships to get dressed.
Yeah.
We
Right.
found that out.
Get all this going.
But the Lord is so gracious;
The
He will
Lord-
return the money that you stole from the offspring
With
if
His
you're
amazing
repentant.
grace. Come on.
Yes.
Yeah, and amazing
Yep.
grace.
Is that it?
And then, sorry. Oh, I'm scared. Did I hear now?
And there were lions in Land Before Time. All right, this is all available on the Instagram where you can watch all of this. Thank you guys for coming in, as always.
Oh,
Love
thank
you guys.
The Thursday Afternoon Chat. Your favorite artists with Jayar.